Hi, this is Pirka, and yep, I'm finally going to attempt to do a review show. Virtual pets have been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I had the Tamagotchi Game Boy game, and I got a Furby the very first year that they came out in 1998. And since I don't see any other shows on the subject of virtual pets and raising sims on YouTube, I've decided to try this out myself. I will not be showing myself on screen very often. I will focus on the virtual pets themselves. But I just wanted to say, tell me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. If you want me to stop, please tell me. And I will try my best to do what I can to improve this. So I hope you enjoy the very first episode of Pirka's Virtual Pet Reviews. That's Furby! When it comes to the modern definition of virtual pets, all roads lead from Furby. Originally released by Hasbro subsidiary Tiger Electronics in 1998 and advertised as
the first gigapet you pet.
Furby was something completely new and different at the time of its release, combining the caretaking aspects of a Tamagotchi and no off switch, much to the chagrin of parents everywhere, with the physicality of a stuffed animal, or, well, a real pet. They had their own native language known as Furbish, which they spoke almost exclusively out of the package. Playing with them over time taught them English, or whatever language Furby happened to purchase, a feature so misunderstood that at one point Furbies were even banned from the Pentagon due to paranoia that they would learn and then blab about government secrets, despite the fact that Furbies at the time were incapable of even recognizing speech. They were a massive hit, and for good reason. Even today, the original 1998 Furby holds up. Heck, I love Furby enough that when the 2005 re-release was announced, my whole year was basically built around it. I even ordered one of the first 1,000 new Furbys from Hasbro's website, and got the certificate to prove, well, my dorkiness mostly. But since they first hit the scene in 1998, Furby has had 2 subsequent resurgences, 3 if you count the 2012 boom as separate entities, and this video is going to cover all of them. It won't cover Furby friends like Shelby or any addition of the Furby babies, just the basic Furbies themselves. So without further ado, time for some dadue. That would be big fun, as we go over Furbies through the ages. The original Furby came in several different styles and colors in different waves, with each style either featuring a long mane or a short puffball tail. There were also 3 different voice pitches, 4 and later more eye colors, and several different Furbish names, which could be revealed through play. They even all had meanings. For instance, Coco here, her name means more or again. They featured a crazy amount of sensors for the time. The back sensor for petting, the front or stomach sensor for tickling, the tongue sensor or mouth sensor for feeding them, the sound sensor which can tell them if they're hearing loud or soft noises but could not recognize speech as some people thought, the tilt sensor which tells them which way is up or if they're being shaken around, and the IR or infrared sensor, that weird little 3-pronged shape in between their eyes, which allowed them to communicate with other Furbies and friends through infrared signals, sort of like how a TV remote works. It also allows them to sense light and darkness. These sensors built the foundation for all the releases thereafter. They also had 3 built-in games accessed by kind of finicky combinations of sensor actions: Furby Says, Ask Furby Yes or No Questions, and Hide and Seek, which was my personal favorite at the time I bought her. They could even be taught tricks via simple sensor-based programming, although this was pretty finicky as well. This is Coco, my 1998 Furby, who was precious to me then and is precious to me now despite suffering from what I can only describe as Furby version of arthritis due to gear problems over the ages.
Well, that looks terrifying because of the motor problem, but that's okay.
But she actually still works pretty well.
Hey, Furby!
The 2005 Furby, or Emototronic Furby as the package says, was released, well, it's pretty obvious, and it was a pretty enormous deal at the time. Yes, we already went over that. featuring a ton of press and advertising, and even its own cartoon movie that I might review at a later date, because it is kind of something else. The most notable difference is definitely their size, with them being a little over twice the size of the original Furby. They have soft rubber beaks and hard feet, unlike the original's hard beaks and soft cloth feet, and are generally more realistically designed like a real animal. They are also tailless, although a later release called Funky Furby added tails for some reason. Strangely enough, despite the real animal vibe they were going for, 2005s are the only Furby released to feature an on and off switch. The main draw with the 2005 Furbys was voice recognition. By saying the words, "Hey Furby," and then a voice command, Furby would respond with several actions, such as dancing, playing red light, green light, telling a story, telling jokes, or singing in both Furbish and English. Just like the originals, they learned more English over time. They also shared many of the same sensors as the originals, such as mouth, back, and stomach. Unfortunately, that's where most of the similarities end. These Furbies all acted and sounded exactly the same, were nameless, and had practically no variation other than color. Let's put it this way. For various reasons involving having a cottage at one point, I have two identical 2005 Furbies. They were going to be different colors, but an accident led to purchasing the same fur type. There is no way to tell the two of them apart. I have no idea which one is which at this point. This demonstrates the main problem with the 2005 Furbies. They were greatly lacking in personality despite the more advanced technology used to create them. Fittingly, they quickly flopped. As much as I understand why, my heart was still broken by this. I love my 2005s, Chili and Herbie, as much as any, and I still do today. And so, the world of Furby went silent. I personally thought, with a heavy heart, that they'd never actually come back. And then 2012 came around, and with it, an announcement that made my heart pee its pants.
Introducing Furby from Hasbro.
Furby was returning in the way it always should have. Basically, the same deal as the originals, only using more modern technology. 2012 Furby is about the same size as the originals and has the same hard beak and eye structure as the originals, even a part of it designed to call back to the IR sensor of old. And just like the originals, these babies have no off switch to speak of. Most jarring new physical features that the 2012 Furbies and subsequent re-releases have LED screen eyes that are animated, somewhat like Tiger's Poochie line did, but much more advanced. The only downside to this is that they're almost impossible to film without making the Furby look like it's achieving Avatar state. But anyway, they come in several different fur colors and textures, although they all have the same sort of lionish tail. Also, their ears are made of a sort of rubbery plastic. These Furbies basically went in the entirely opposite direction from the 2005s. Instead of lacking personality, their personality is one of the most marketed things. Doing away entirely with voice recognition, how you treat the 2012 caused it to develop one of several personalities which all had different voices and eye animations to go with them. Sometimes this can be kind of jarring and it makes them seem, well, a little bit insane sometimes. Also, like the 2005s, the 2012s rather disappointingly didn't have names. They also don't have pre-programmed games, but honestly I don't think that's that much of a loss. Aside from the sensors we've come to expect and the Furbish to English learning aspect, it also has the ability to dance to music and a little something else. By emitting mosquito tones, 2012 Furby can actually be interacted with using a smartphone app. I personally didn't use it very much, but it obviously was a much loved feature because...
New Furby Boom is here!
2013 release, known as Furby Boom, focused a lot on the app functionality, using the app to not only interact with the Boom, but raise this generation's take on Furby babies, the Furblings, coming full circle back to Tamagotchi once again. Heck, the app is so extensive it's probably going to get its own video once I get a phone that can play the dang thing without freezing up. Yes, I'm bitter, why do you ask? Furby Boom looks almost identical to the 2012s, with the main differences being physical and stylistic. They have more strangely patterned fur, sort of ridge pattern around the eyes, holes in their ears, I have no idea why, and the fact the cloth feet were inexplicably once again made plastic. It's probably a balance issue judging by the fact Nanners has a tendency to fall on her ass.
Oh my god! Nanners! Nanners, are you okay?
They also act in the same manner, personality changes and all, although what I've seen the personalities are different from the ones in the 2012. So, there you have it. Furbies just won't stay down. These little furballs, as their name came from, yeah, really, look it up, will continue to be friends to children and adults alike for years to come. regardless of the generation your Furby is from.